everyone, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be recommending you some books with Persian main characters. As a Persian, it has always been very fascinating to me to see a Persian character, especially a Persian main character. It always makes me feel very seen and heard. Today, I'm going to be talking about 4 books with Persian main characters. They're either Persian or they're biracial. Let's start off with my most recent read that actually inspired this video. It's a graphic novel and it is called Persepolis, The Story of a Childhood. This graphic novel is the writer's autobiography, so it's Marjan Satrapi's memoir. She's basically talking about her childhood from the ages 6 to 14. So she talks about what happened during those ages, from the overthrow of the Shah's regime, and then the triumph of the Islamic Revolution, then the effects of war between Iran and Iraq. So it's kind of like the history of Iran told through a perspective of a child. I obviously know my country's history, and there were some very contradictory comments in the graphic novel, but overall I believe it's such an informative book. Very eye-opening, very heartbreaking. I gave this book a 4 stars, but I believe that the illustrations, everything was very creative and powerful, yet sad and tragic. You can feel what all the families that lived during those times had to go through. The discussions on war were so tragic. There are actually 2 volumes to this graphic novel. I have only read the first volume. The first one, as I mentioned, follows her childhood. The second one follows her after the age of 14, where she has to kind of immigrate to Austria. After her graduation, she decides to come back to Iran. It has only been 4 years since she left, but she can see everything has changed in such a tremendous way. And then she applies to university. She's trying to figure out what she wants to do for the rest of her life and where future is gonna lead her. Next book that I would like to talk about is called Darius the Great Is Not Okay. This book was the first book that I ever read with a Persian main character. He's actually biracial. He's Persian American. His mother is Persian and his father is American. It was the first time that I actually felt seen while reading a book. So the main character of this book is called Darius. Obviously, he is struggling with clinical depression and social anxiety, and he just feels like he's always on the outside. He never fits in anywhere. He does not belong anywhere. And then some family stuff happens, and then he has to visit Iran, more specifically the city of Yazd, which I've never actually been to, and I really want to, especially after reading this book. I feel like I need to visit Yazd at least once in my life. When he arrives here, he is still feeling lost. He's meeting his mother's family for the first time. He still kind of feels like he does not belong here until he meets Sohrab, which becomes his best friend. Sohrab always includes Darius in everything, and he never lets him feel left out, and he kind of makes him actually feel Persian for the first time. He finally feels like he belongs somewhere. They have such a beautiful friendship. They have very cute conversations with one another. There's also a father-son dynamic between Darius and his father, and they go through so much in just one book. The dynamic was very interesting to me. It actually has a sequel as well, but I still haven't had the chance to read it. I believe it follows Darius's life when he's back in America. It's more like his coming of age story. This book also kind of reminded me of Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. That is, again, one of my favorite books of all time. Darius the Great is one of my favorite books of all time. So they kind of give off the same vibes. If you like Aristotle and Dante, please pick up Darius the Great Is Not Okay. The next book is a book that I've already talked about on my channel before. It's called The Stationery Shop. Stationery Shop follows a sad and tragic love story. We meet Roya, a bookworm that is obsessed with the stationery shop that Mr. Farokhi owns. She just loves spending time there. It's a stationery slash bookstore. Obviously, she spends a lot of time there until Mr. Farokhi introduces her to his other favorite customer, Bahman, one of the best book boyfriends ever written. Bahman is passionate for justice and Rumi's poetry. So there's a lot of Rumi references in this book, which I absolutely love. Rumi is one of my favorite poets. We follow their love story until one day they decide to meet at the town square, and then a coup d'etat and a riot kind of happens and Bahman doesn't show up. Bahman and Ruya kind of never see each other again until 60 years later. Fate leads them back to one another, and Ruya just wants to ask him why he never showed up and why did he forget about her. As you can tell, and as I have mentioned a bajillion times, it's very tragic, very upsetting, but I love it nonetheless. I gave it 5 stars. It's a story about love, loss, grief, and literature. So if that's something you would be interested in, don't miss out on this book. It's amazing. The last book I want to mention is a book that I still haven't read actually, but I plan to in the near future. It's called Reading Lolita in Tehran. It's a memoir and is set during the Islamic Republic. There's a very bold and intelligent teacher that gathers her 7 most committed students at her house every week. And because of all the censorship that was and is still happening on English books, this teacher and her students, they read the forbidden Western classics. So these kids, these students, they are brave enough to remove their veils, sit down with their teacher and read from Vladimir Nabokov, Jane Austen, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and so on and so forth. On the Goodreads summary, it said something like their stories become intertwined with the stories that they're reading. I don't know what that means. However, I'm excited about it. That is all. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to like this video, comment down your thoughts, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. I hope you have a nice day or night, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!